Someone recently shared a short video with me that I found genuinely funny. His videos are really sharp, exaggerated in the right way, and very relatable. I'll leave his link Instagram in the description below. But after laughing, I caught myself thinking about it a bit more, and I realized it's actually a perfect example of how small misunderstandings can snowball into something much bigger. So I decided to make a video, not to criticize anyone, but to break it down calmly using a bit of engineering style thinking and show why it fails and how a small change can completely shift the outcomes. So let's watch this first, and then I'll show you why it fails and how a small change completely changes the outcome.
I'm really upset about something that happened at work. Babe, don't be sad. In his mind, the moment he says that, all my problems magically disappear and I'm supposed to be happy. Well, we have to be grateful for the good things, right? I am grateful for the good things. The problem is the bad ones. It's not that simple, honey. I am deeply upset. Don't be like that, babe. You're so pretty. Did I ask if I'm ugly? Or did I ask his opinion? Well, what I actually need right now is to calm down. Just sit here quietly. No words of support? But you said you wanted silence. Oh my gosh, why are men so bad at this? Seriously? Okay, let's do this, let's eat. Ice cream, candy, something sweet, that will help. Sweets? No, thank. I don't want to gain weight. Oh yeah, you're totally hopeless.
Watching this. Okay, so I have to be honest. I did crack up watching this. I found this hilarious, not because anyone is ridiculous, because it's painfully familiar. I've lived versions of this, and I'm sure most couples have lived versions of this as well. And this dynamic shows up across many different couples, different cultures, and different sexes. This isn't about men being emotionally broken or women being impossible to understand. It's about two reasonable people trying to support each other while running different internal systems. Now, what I'd like to do is to break this video down. From her side, this moment isn't really about work. Work was just a trigger. What's happening is an emotional overload. Her nervous system is activated and she needs help calming down. Not advice, not fixing, not reframing. She's looking for someone to sit with her in the emotion before anything else happens. From his side, he genuinely thinks he is helping. Many men are trained to respond to distress by solving. Reduce the problem, improve the outcome, and move forward. Every sentence he offers is an attempt to make things better. The problem isn't the intention. The problem is that the tool doesn't match the situation. In engineering terms, this is a classic failure mode. You have a correct action applied at the wrong time, and this can still make a system worse. Logic introduced too early feels like a dismissal. Silence without presence feels like abandonment. And small misalignments stack until the system overloads. Here is a simple engineering analogy. Imagine a machine that's overheating. The alarm is on. Temperatures are rising. Now, everything you do might be technically correct. You might open the user manual. You may try to optimize the control software. You might explain how the machine usually runs efficiently. None of that is wrong. But if you don't reduce the heat first, you actually make the situation worse. The correct first step is cooling and stabilization. Only after the system is stable does optimization make sense. And that is exactly what's happening here in this conversation. Logic introduced too early feels like a dismissal. Silence without presence feels like abandonment. And each small mismatch adds heat until the system overloads. It is the right action at the wrong timing, which results with the worst outcome. What I'd like to do now is let us rewatch the individual sections and comment on them one by one.
I'm really upset about something that happened at work. Babe, don't be sad. In his mind, the moment he says that, all my problems magically disappear and I'm supposed to be happy.
The original response, baby, don't be sad. What this does to the woman, even though this sounds caring, it lands as a dismissal. She hears that her emotion is something that should stop immediately, instead of something that makes sense given what she's experiencing. Her body is still in a stress state, but now there is an added feeling, I'm not being understood. That's often when frustration starts to replace sadness. What the man should say instead is, that sounds really upsetting. Why this can work? This works because it doesn't try to change how she feels. It simply shows that he understands that what she is going through, it's hard. When someone feels seen, their body naturally starts to calm down. Nothing is fixed yet, but the situation stops from getting worse.
Be happy. Well, we have to be grateful for the good things, right? I am grateful for the good things. The problem is the bad ones. It's not that simple, honey. I am deeply upset.
Now, the second one is, we should be grateful for the good things in life. What this does to the woman, this makes her feel like she's being corrected instead of being supported. She already knows there are good things in her life, but in that moment, she focuses on the pain. Hearing this can create guilt on top of the stress, like she is doing something wrong by being upset. And that usually pushes her further away emotionally. So, what the man should say instead? Perhaps something like, do you want to talk about it? Or do you just want company right now? Why this can work? This question removes the pressure. It tells her that both options are okay and that she doesn't have to perform or explain anything. It also stops him from guessing wrong. Giving someone a choice helps them feel more in control when the emotions feel overwhelming.
Don't be like that, babe. You're so pretty. Did I ask if I'm ugly? Or did I ask his opinion? Well,
the moment number 3 was where he said, you are so pretty. What this does to the woman, even though the compliment is genuine, it feels unrelated to what she's experiencing. She's talking about a problem and suddenly the focus shifts to her appearances. This can make her feel like her emotions are being brushed aside or replaced with flattery. The result is confusion and irritation rather than comfort. What the man should have probably said is, that really sounds like a lot to deal with. Why this can work? Because it keeps the focus where it belongs, on her experience. It tells her that her reaction makes sense and that she's not overreacting. Feeling understood is more calming than being complimented in the middle of a stress. It builds emotional safety instead of distraction.
Opinion? Well, what I actually need right now is to calm down. Just sit here quietly. No words of support, but you said you wanted silence. Oh my gosh, why are men so bad at this? Seriously?
The moment number 4 was where he goes completely silent and emotionally distant. And what this does to the woman is, she asked for quiet. What she actually needed was closeness without talking. When he emotionally disappears, it feels like she's being left alone with her feelings. And this can quickly turn sadness into anger or resentment. The silence feels cold instead of supportive. What the man should have said instead is, I'm here. We can just sit. Why this can work? This shows her that she's not alone. Even without words, it keeps the connection alive while lowering the emotional intensity. In quiet moments feel comforting when someone stays present. It's the difference between space and abandonment.
Seriously? Okay, let's do this. Let's eat. Ice cream, candy, something sweet. That will help. Sweets? No, thank. I don't want to gain weight. Oh yeah, you're totally hopeless.
And moment number 5 where the man says, no, I'm on a diet. What this does to the woman, this feels like a rejection in disguise. She wasn't really asking about food. She was asking for shared comfort. When rules come before connection, it can feel like the relationship isn't a priority in that moment. That's often the final trigger for an emotional explosion. What the man should have said instead was, I'm trying to eat better, but right now I want to be here with you. Would you like to share? Why this can work? Because it tells her that the relationship matters more than the rule in the moment. It creates a feeling of being chosen and supported. Shared comfort helps emotions settle faster, a lot faster than logic or discipline. And small gestures like this can completely change the direction of the interaction. I want you to notice something very important here. None of the revised responses are dramatic. They don't require emotional expertise or perfect wording. They simply match the emotional load before introducing logic or any type of solution. What this video really shows is something very simple. The problem wasn't communication skills, it wasn't emotional intelligence, and it wasn't bad intention. The problem was that the system was under load and the responses didn't match the operating conditions. In engineering, if a system is overheating, you don't add more instruction, you remove the load and you stabilize it first. That's what validation does. It stabilizes the system. And once the system is stable, then you can introduce logic and solutions that actually work. So the rule is simple. When emotions are high, don't fix, don't reframe, don't optimize. Stabilize first. Then decide what to do next. Same people, same relationship, better system behavior. Thank you all again for watching. Thank you for your attention, and until next time, be well.